Thursday morning, we're still going on St. James got it today. This reading today, he's got a little chip on his shoulder. He's getting carried away here. I can see some people love St. James. Some say, Jesus, he got up bad in the morning. He must have got up on the wrong side of the bed. But this one, he is fierce. But it's still, he's incredibly wise. He just has more bite than usual, okay? But I'll share it with you, okay? I have to interpret it, of course. He says, come now, you rich. Weep and wail you over your impending miseries. He's mad at the rich guys. Your wealth has rotted away. Your clothes have become moth-eaten. He must have gone into my closets, but we won't go into that. Your gold and silver have corroded, and that corrosion will be a testimony against you. It will devour your flesh like a fire. You have stored up treasure for the last days. Yeah, but it's all for naught. You see, that's what he's saying. What's he talking about there? Is he against human success and wealth? No, it's when it becomes a religion unto itself. And then it all fades away. It's the condemnation is its final evaporation of value. No matter how rich you are and how poor you are, you're still going to ground. You're still going to die, and you ain't taking it with you. And you've made a false god out of it. That, I think, is probably the biggest thing. If there's a notion of world, that might be it here. I didn't think of that when I was reading yesterday. But that could easily be it. When you're thinking about world as the pursuit, not just of power, but of wealth. It's the false god of wealth. You're putting everything on wealth and the accoutrements that come with it. And in the end, see, the gold, the silver, the fine clothes, in the end, is vain. It's the vanity of all vanities, because in the end it's passing. You can't take it with you. And more than that, it destroys the other goods that are greater. It's a love of, you can't buy intimacy. You can't buy friendship. You can't buy it. You can't procure it. See? You can't buy favor. You can, but you can't. It's untrustworthy. You want to see that? Watch the movie The Godfather. Holy moly. How much can you trust the other guy? You see? Why? Because you bought him. You bought him, but is he really for sale? Or is there a higher bidder? It's the fleetingness of wealth. It's the false deity of wealth. It's not a true God. Because what can be bought can be sold. See? It's a false wisdom. I think that's what he means by the world. You're banking everything on what is transient. As much as gold and silver, of all things, is the least transient of all metals. Good grief, we have gold that goes back thousands and thousands of years, okay? But not the owner of it. The owner of it, we may know about them, but that's about it, because their names are dug in a wall somewhere. But they're gone. See? The fleetingness of it. But what is eternal? What is lasting? Is love. And it's an eternalized love found in the death and resurrection of Christ. See, eternal love, eternal beauty. There's no such thing as eternal gold. No. It's a precious metal, but it's not alive. It can procure some goods, but it can't procure love. If it did, God help you from the one who loves you for your money, pal. Or her, she, forget about it. So that's all they want? Forget about it. I'd rather be poor. That's a true story. You know it. You can't buy happiness. You can't buy intimacy. You can't buy loneliness. If you're up, that's all you want in life. And you'll get it to some degree. You'll die alone. And if you do it by exploiting, you have to face judgment. And it may not be the judgment of God alone. It may be the judgment of those who exploited. That's the second part of this text. Well, I'll read it here. Behold, the wages you withheld from the workers who harvest your fields are crying out aloud. See, the wages are crying out. Isn't that an interesting line? The very money in your pocket is crying out to you because they are defiled They're defiled and fouled money, see? They're the monies of a thief. You stole from the poor. Bad enough to steal from the rich, but when you steal from the poor, baby, watch out. That money will haunt you, will curse you. Right? Listen to this. Behold, the wages you withheld from the workers who harvested your fields are crying out to you. The wages are. And the cries of the harvesters have reached the ears of the Lord of hosts. The cry of the poor, the exploited poor. Right? You have lived on earth in luxury and pleasure. You fattened your heart. Boys, this is a brutal line. You fattened your hearts for the day of slaughter. You have fattened your hearts for the day of slaughter. You're going to get whacked. You're going to get sacrificed. I think of Mussolini hanging like a pig in Milan by his feet. It wasn't wealth that he had. It was the vanity of power, but still. Italians knew what they were doing. When they hung him, hung him by his feet. Yeah. There was no, they removed even the externalities of dignity. They hung him like a pig in a pig market. Okay? You have fattened your hearts for the day of slaughter. Well, you stole from the poor. You stole from the poor. You have condemned. You have murdered the righteous one. He offers you no resistance. You have cursed the poor. You have murdered the poor. They couldn't stop you. But in the end, you're going to answer for it. Well, that seems so true to me, actually. It's not the pursuit of wealth, pursuit of career professionalism. It's when you exploit someone else to get there. In a way, their voices echo. They echo. Maybe they echo from the grave, but they echo. I think of that a lot. I think of that a lot. Here he's talking about the exploitation of labor, but it can be any form of human exploitation. It could be the exploitation of your spouse, even your children, God forbid. Okay? It could be anyone. It's when you seek yourself at the cost of another and you don't care about the other. They're there for your self-fulfillment. They're there for your pleasures. Maybe from the grave they will cry out to you. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe you will hear their voice, or you might hear their voice from the voce de Dio, from the voice of God saying, did you feed the poor? Did you exploit the poor? Did you exploit those who trusted in you? Were you fair? Were you just? Were you loving? Or did you exploit the people that were with you? The ones that Providence gave you. Did you love them? Did you care for them? Or did you exploit them? I don't think I want to hear that last part. I hope to God in all the things that I've done with my life, I hope when I face the Almighty, He doesn't say to me, you know what? You bullied a lot of people. You made your bones on everybody else. I hope that will never be heard. I hope I hear the voice of those whom I have loved and been loved by those whom I have served. You did okay. You took care of us. You looked out for us. I love that kind of line, street talk. You looked out for us. You looked out for us. You didn't take advantage of it. You looked out for us. You took care of your own. You took care of us. I think that's the final positive virtue, a positive judgment by God. You took care of us. He took care of us, God did, and we took care of each other. Yeah. Anyway, just a thought.